Coming to you live from the Mediaplex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of Clair College Journalism.
Hi, I'm Shelbey Hernandez, and you're watching Mediaplex News Now. Chrysler employees are running this year's Coats for Kids campaign. Reporter Mandy Matthews tells us how.
While Chrysler is in the heart of Windsor, the hearts of the employees is in giving back to the community.
We're building vehicles for a reason, and we also have to help the community surround us that supports us.
Chrysler workers took a day off from the assembly line to sort through donated coats. Michael Brita is the plant manager at the Windsor Dodge Caravan Assembly Plant.
We've been collecting coats for this program for the last couple of weeks at our plant.
This program is called Coats for Kids. The campaign distributed about 3,400 coats in 1985, and 29 years later, Debbie Desjardins hopes to give out over 5,000 coats this winter.
You know, our community was hit with the auto industry, all the feeder plants, many plant closures, so their families have had to struggle. There's people coming to the country that have never seen a winter, so they really have never seen snow because their countries are warm.
She's been on board this program with the Unemployed Help Center since the Red Cross passed it on 5 years ago.
It's just that right now, because the weather's been nice, people haven't gone in and dug out their winter stuff, and they don't know that the coats don't fit their children.
Through United Way, these two organizations came together for the first time.
Minivans don't get produced just because of a few people. Everybody's involved.
With just a little bit of help today in a few hours, the Chrysler volunteers managed to sort through over 3,000 coats today. Distribution starts November 8th. Visit unemployedhelpcenter.ca for all of the details. Mandy Matthews, Mediaplex News Now.
Let's go over to Sean Frame, who is standing by for an interview with the Executive Director of WIF, Vincent Georgie. Sean?
Thanks, Shelby. I'm here with the Executive Director of the Windsor International Film Festival, Vincent Georgie. So, Vincent, how is the opening weekend of WIF going so far?
It's been fantastic. We've had fantastic numbers and engagement from our audience, and also people really just loving the films, and that's great. I mean, a 10-year anniversary is something special to celebrate, so a lot of people coming out for the first time, and also many patrons coming to us after all 10 years and celebrating, and seeing some really great films and catching up with people in the lobby and you know, in the theater. So it's been a very jam-packed weekend, above expectations actually. It's been really, really, really nice, and it's going to be a strong week, and then again right through from November 1st to the 9th.
Were there any surprises this year?
Yeah, there's a couple of films that really went above and beyond expectations. Obviously, Whiplash is the talk of the festival. That one did huge numbers over the weekend. It's playing again twice. Tickets still available, and that one's huge. Also, Red Army, the Russian hockey documentary, is absolutely huge. That's great. And Boy Choir with Dustin Hoffman has been really popular. A lot of great films, and especially the local films. Local films have been selling out like crazy. It's been really fantastic and a good source of pride for Windsor.
And what films do you think that'll do especially well this year, other than the ones that you've listed?
Yeah, I think those ones will do well. I think our closing night film, Wild Tales, is really special. I think that's going to be, a really popular one. Yves Saint Laurent, about the fashion designer, I think will be a popular film as well. I think that people will go for that. Camp X-Ray with Kristen Stewart, I think will be a popular one. And also Pride, the British comedy, is really, really going to be popular. It hasn't premiered yet. It's playing in the back end of the festival. That one's going to be a good one.
And are there any major changes from last year's WIF?
Yeah, there's many, many changes. Again, with the 10th anniversary celebration, you want to bring some great changes. So the festival is the longest it's ever been. It went from 6 days to 9 days. And lots of surprises, lots of special films being screened.
All right, well, thanks. That was Vincent Georgie, the Executive Director of WIF. Back to you, Shelby.
Thanks, Sean. This year, WIF features a film shot right here in Windsor. Matt Recker reports.
The Windsor International Film Festival is in full swing, showing over 100 feature-length films this year, but only one shot in Windsor. Beyond the Deep is a science fiction-themed romance and is the second film by director Kyle Masoni to be shown at the festival. His first film, Riot, from 2012, was also shot in Windsor.
I think Windsor is great for shooting because it's there's got such a diverse locations. Like you can basically shoot a whole bunch of different areas and get away with a certain feel and look to it.
Beyond the Deep was shot 2 years ago with a fully local cast. The film's debut played to a sold-out theater on Monday, November 3rd, but tickets are still available for the second screening on November 6th. They can be purchased at windsorfilmfestival.com or at the Capitol Theater box office. Matt Recker, Mediaplex News Now.
Now that daylight savings time is over, it's dark down at the corner of University and Victoria, where Caleb Workman is standing by to give us a look at the upcoming weather. Caleb?
Thanks, Shelby. As you can see, it's not really shorts and t-shirt weather out anymore, so let's take a look at what's really going on. Right now, it's partly cloudy with a little bit of drizzle and 9 degrees. Later on tonight, it's going to drop down to 6 degrees with partly cloudy skies. That's it for our early weather forecast. Later on, I'll be back with the 3-day forecast. Back to you, Shelby.
Ward 4 Councillor Alan Haberstadt was in the studio to recap the election on this edition of 3 Minutes With.
Hi, I'm Justin Prince, and today we're spending 3 minutes with Ward 4 Councillor Alan Halberstadt. So, Councillor Halberstadt, of course, you have been part of City Council for many years, and for the first time since 2003, the city has a new mayor, Andrew Dilkins. What are your thoughts on his ability of being the next mayor of Windsor?
Well, it's certainly given him every opportunity. The jury's still out on that. He's going to have a very challenging job. There's 5 new councillors, which is a huge turnover for Windsor City Council. And you know, there's going to be 5 new people coming in with probably 5 agendas. So it'll be a bit like herding cats. So it'll be a challenge for him to do that. So you're just going to have to wait and see.
Chris Holt was elected to City Council in what was a very close race in that ward, as now you've been elected to the as a school board trustee for the public board, the Greater Essex District School Board. What are your thoughts on him, and how do you think he'll perform on City Council, Chris Holt?
I think Chris will do well. I've known him for many years. I was actually on the bicycling committee with Chris like 10, 15 years ago after I first got on council myself. We have many ideas, similar ideas. He's a planner. He believes in neighborhoods. He believes in cycling and pedestrian access. He believes in a lot of environmental issues, which I did.
What do you think needs to be done when there's a new term each year and there are new incumbents expected for council?
I agree that council has to work together to some degree, but that's why they have a strategic planning session at the start of each term, and they all get some input, and then they put a plan together. Okay. Having said that, I think it's very important for councillors to have some independence too. I was always known for that, and asking probing questions, and some that weren't that well accepted. But I think councillors have to be accountable, as well as working as a team, and vote their conscience, and not just what somebody else tells them they want to vote for.
What are your thoughts about those numbers and that decrease between the last election and this year's election?
Well, for people that love democracy, it's very disheartening, and I find it very disheartening. I would have thought there would be, because there was a mayor's race involving non-incumbents, and a lot of new councillors or councillors going for positions, I would have thought it would have been a higher turnout instead of a lower turnout, and it's very disheartening. I don't know what to say other than that. Obviously, you got to look for reasons, and I think one of the reasons is the youth aren't being engaged; they're not voting.
I'm Justin Prince, and we just spent 3 minutes with Ward 4 Councillor Alan Halberstadt.
Guidance counselors from across the country got together recently to find out what St. Clair College has to offer. I had the chance to check it out. If you were unsure about St. Clair College, this year's St. Clair College Counselor Forum made everything a lot clearer. The event was held on October 24th at main campus and featured a wide variety of speakers. These speakers talked about their programs in order to give high school guidance counselors more information about the programs available at St. Clair College. There were 15 speakers that day, including Angie Manser, who talked about scholarships and bursaries, and Elaine Chatwood, who discussed the fashion design program. Chatwood also had a mini fashion show that went on during her presentation, which showcased the many outfits each student made. Anne Hetherington, the Director of Marketing and Recruitment, acted as the MC for the forum. She says it is a great opportunity for guidance counselors to learn about what St. Clair College has to offer.
It's important to us to expose our faculty and staff to guidance counselors so that they can hear directly from those folks the various areas of the college, what's happening, what's new, and more importantly, the in-depth information about programs that we offer at St. Clair College.
Dr. Andrea DiNardo was another speaker at the forum who talked about how to thrive under pressure. She says many students find that once the pressure piles up, they don't handle it well. So it is up to faculty to show them how to do so.
What benefited me is I love the opportunity to help other educators be a strong support and role models for students in terms of if educators handle stress well. Think of your professors. If you have a professor that comes in all stressed out and you're already stressed out, that's going to make your stress 10 times worse. Versus if you have a professor that sees all the good things that are happening in their classroom, that sees that they're in control of the situation, then they can teach their students what's called the 3 C's of hardiness.
If you missed the forum, don't worry. St. Clair College does one every year. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Shelbey Hernandez. An Amherstburg Youth Center is counting on funding from the United Way. Jonathan Martin has the story.
Amherstburg's House of Shalom Youth Center has given local teens a sense of security and belonging since Father John Ware founded it in 1971. Now, at the end of its 5-year funding term with United Way, the house is counting on its partner to see it as a priority. It costs almost $200,000 a year to run the center. Program coordinator Holly Kirk-McLean described the numbers as daunting.
The United Way, for our part, makes up the bulk of our funding, and so without that, that would be quite a bit for us to try and make the difference up for, because we do have, the biggest blessing that we have, but can also be our biggest curse, is our building. We are in a big, old, beautiful, it used to be a Catholic school. It gives us the space to meet our needs, but there's a lot of upkeep, maintenance, and bills that come along with that as well.
Rebecca D-Line says it's not the piles of work or the long hours that make the situation draining. It's the amount of passion she puts into them.
Having come here as a youth myself and being involved with the program as a volunteer, it's really close to my heart. And the house being open for 44 years now, it's touched so many thousands of people in our area that it is such an important thing in our community. So I think the biggest pressure is feeling responsible for that.
With less than half of the house's total funding coming from fundraising, the youth center's fate, by and large, relies on the United Way renewing its 5-year commitment. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Jonathan Martin.
Residents of Windsor and Essex County disposed of their unused prescription drugs by handing them over to Crime Stoppers. Justin Prince reports.
It's time to take back your drugs and personal documents. That's what the Windsor and Essex County Crime Stoppers and DocuStop did as they teamed up to hold their 7th Take Back Your Drugs and Community Shredding event on November 1st at the Tecumseh Mall. The event, which has been held at different times for more than 4 years, was held to collect any unused over-the-counter medications, prescription drugs, and narcotics, as well as to shred any unwanted confidential documents. According to Crime Stoppers Police Coordinator Constable Ryan Burney, the event collected 65 pounds of medications. Crime Stoppers also collected an estimated 8 pounds of narcotics, which were worth more than $3,000 in street value. Ron Funkenhauser, the program manager for Crime Stoppers, says events like this help promote disposing drugs properly.
Well, what ends up happening is we don't want people to put their drugs in the toilet or down the drain or in the garbage. It should be disposed of properly. So what we do is we have Zeder Pharmacy that donates their services. They're good friends of ours. And what they do is they divide the prescriptions up into narcotics, over-the-counter drugs, and there's 3 piles that they put it in, and then we seal them properly, and then again they get disposed of, they get incinerated, on a location off-site from here, but at least it's a peace of mind. It's done the proper way.
The same importance was placed on the documents to be shredded. Jeff Battiston, the program manager for First Stop Services, explained that the process for DocuStop was different than other methods used. He says the pages are cut, bleached, shredded, and recycled at their facility on Erie Street. Battiston says it's important to have any confidential document shredded.
We're shredding security documents, anything that anybody thinks that has personal information that they don't want to just dump into the landfill. And what we really want to do is create an awareness that's very important to have done.
Now, for those people who are unable to make it to the Take Back Your Drugs and Community Shredding event, for anyone who has unused drugs, they can bring them to any drugstore or pharmacy to have them properly disposed. Crime Stoppers Windsor Essex also hopes to hold this event twice a year in the future, once at Devonshire Mall and once here at Tecumseh Mall. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Justin Prince.
Mark your calendars. St. Clair College will be hosting its annual Fall Open House on Saturday, November 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Interested applicants can tour all 4 of the college's campuses for a variety of programs. Students of the Mediaplex will be giving tours of the newsroom, radio booth, and computer labs they use every day to produce the stories you see here. No reservations are required. Now, let's take a trip across the pond to England. That's where our UK correspondent and St. Clair Journalism graduate, Sean Preble, checks in from the University of Kent with the latest edition of British Beat.
Hello again from the Centre for Journalism at the University of Kent in the UK. Here's what's in the UK news this week. There have been more developments in the next royal bundle of joy. According to a palace spokesman, Princess Kate is not expecting twins, but another single brother or sister for Prince George. A report by the Examiner also notes Prince Harry believes it may be another baby boy based on the paternal side of the family. Also in royal news, Prince Charles and Camilla were in Colombia last week for a 4-day tour. They visited an organic and urban sustainability fair where the couple posed for photos and the Prince of Cornwall took on the role of cowboy and even donned the hat. The event took place at the Bogota residence of British Ambassador Lindsay Croysdale Appleby. Now, I'd like to speak more about the school I'm at because, as I mentioned in my last British Beat, I'm studying here for my master's and wanted to give a bit more detail about this wonderful campus. The University of Kent offers both a bachelor's and master's degree in journalism, which have been ranked in The Guardian as the top journalism program in the UK, while Kent is also listed 20th in the list of top 100 schools in the UK. While here, you learn everything from British reporting methods to politics, media law, and practical multimedia journalism. And you also choose from multiple electives, including sports journalism, advanced multimedia storytelling, or my favorite, reporting conflict. In the last class, we are studying the different methods of, as you can guess, the history of conflict reporting. The school is housed in the Gillingham building at the Medway campus of the university in Gillingham, which is about a 45-minute to hour train ride from London. The university also has a separate campus in Canterbury. While here, you also study additional courses like shorthand, which I mentioned before because the program is accredited by the National Council for the Training of Journalists. Now, if my descriptions of the programs here have piqued your interest, you can check out kent.ac.uk for more information. The school loves to bring in students from around the world, so don't hesitate to apply. That's all from the Centre for Journalism at the University of Kent for now. Until next time, I'm Sean Preble.
Bobby Jo Keats tells us about the many benefits of meditation in today's Health Minute.
Welcome to Health Minute. I'm Bobby Jo Keats, and today we are talking about the health benefits of meditation. It is defined as mental contemplation or reflection. It is the practice of concentrated focus upon a sound, object, or movement and involves slow, deep breathing, as well as visualization. It can be used to reduce stress, promote relaxation, and enhance personal and spiritual growth. Meditation produces a state of deep relaxation and a sense of balance. Its techniques have been practiced throughout history. In recent years, there has been an increased interest in the use of meditation in medicine. Meditative practices are increasingly being offered in medical clinics and hospitals as a tool for improving health and quality of life. It can be done in an upright seated position, either in a chair or cross-legged, with the spine remaining straight yet relaxed. Eyes can remain open or closed depending on the type of meditation, and a person may concentrate on counting breaths, chanting, visualizing an image, or just focusing awareness on the center of the body. Anyone can practice meditation, and there are no health risks involved. In fact, people interested in developing their mental attention or concentration are encouraged to give it a try. So remember, a healthy mind contributes to a healthy body. Thank you for joining us. This has been your Health Minute.
Now, let's head back down to Caleb Workman on the corner of University and Victoria. What's the weather looking like for the rest of the week, Caleb?
Did you know that 1996 was Canada's rainiest year? Did you also know that 1910 was Canada's driest? Well, luckily we'll be somewhere in between that. On Wednesday, it'll be mainly sunny with a high of 12 degrees and a low of 6. Thursday will be a bit rainy with a high of 10 and a low of 6. We'll conclude the week with a frosty Friday. Having a high of 5 and a low of 0, I advise you break out your winter jackets. This has been your 3-day Windsor weather forecast from the corner of Victoria and University. I'm Caleb Workman. Back to you, Shelbey.
Thanks, Caleb. The Royal Canadian Air Force recently celebrated its 90th anniversary. Dan Gray has the story.
Windsor's Passing the Torch Committee, along with the Canadian Historical Aircraft Association and Air Force veterans, held a 3-day-long event to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Gordon Cook piloted Harvards during his time in the service. He came to relive some memories.
Good memories. Ann and I both have talked about our tenure in the Air Force, and just to see the aircraft and mix and mingle with the veterans, that's a privilege.
Karen Barnes is the events coordinator for the committee. She said during the event, hundreds of children came to see aircraft like the Stearman and learn about the RCAF's history. They were also able to take a peek inside the Lancaster, a World War II era bomber.
So the idea is to get the children in, get the students in, and show them why we still observe Remembrance Day and the importance of honoring our veterans.
The Royal Canadian Air Force has lasted its first 90 years. Here's hoping it'll be around in 90 years more. For the Mediaplex News Now, I'm Dan Gray.
Giles Campus French Immersion School had an undead yet uplifting volleyball game. Tecumseh McGuigan reports.
Members of the Windsor Police Service and students from the Protection, Security and Investigations program at St. Clair College traveled to the Giles Campus French Immersion School to take on staff and students. However, there was one problem: the police had been overrun by the living dead. It was all in good fun, however, as Constable Shane Reno explains.
The program is in partnership with the Windsor Police Service Community Services Branch and the Giles Campus French Immersion School. The reason why we chose this particular school is they decided on their own initiative to raise funds on behalf of our Camp Bromwell program.
Overall, the school raised $250 for the free leadership camp. The games kicked off with the boys' team taking on the police, where despite a shot in net, the Zombies dominated a 25-15 game. The girls fared similar results, losing 20-6. Giles Campus took its last stand against the Undead with the staff team, which drove away the Zombies, defeating them 30-21. Tommaso Batura, a PSI student, explains how he copes with the defeat.
You know what, it was all for the perspective of fun, and it was a tough loss. We started mounting a comeback, but we couldn't just come back. But what are you going to do? It's all for fun.
For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Tecumseh McGuigan.
Justin Thompson has a lowdown on some concerts coming to Windsor on today's Music Minute.
I'm Justin Thompson, and this is your Music Minute. Today I'm going to talk to you about some upcoming concerts in the Windsor area. If you want to be as cool as Adam Sandler and Billy Madison, then throw on a denim jacket and go check out REO Speedwagon at Caesars Windsor, November 7th. Ticket prices start at $25. If REO Speedwagon isn't your speed, then maybe you'd rather check out the Steve Miller Band. The Space Cowboy will be setting up stage at the WFCU Center on November 18th. The band has sold more than 40 million records in a career spanning more than 40 years. His trademark blues rock sound made him one of the key artists in classic rock radio. If you want to take a short trip out of the city for some good music, then I would encourage you to check out Ryan Adams. He will be playing at the Fillmore in Detroit on November 9th. After years of releasing albums with the Cardinals, he is out on the road performing solo again. I'm Justin Thompson, and this has been your Music Minute.
Many students are beginning the process of making their choice for post-secondary education. Check out what St. Clair has to offer.
Changing, and they're changing faster than most people can understand.
It's not my parents' generation anymore, and I can't just go by their ideas because it's not necessarily relevant anymore.
There's a jobless generation out there walking out of universities with no idea how to engage their industry. A degree isn't necessarily a pathway to their career. Being industry ready is.
I have to take control of my future.
The job market has changed, and I have to adapt. I'm not just getting theory, I'm getting skills.
Through placement, I'm shown which areas I can specialize in and which path it takes to get there.
I struggled a lot in high school because, people just kept lecturing at me, and that's just not my way of learning.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory, it's not book work anymore.
I think it's so important to be taught by industry professionals because they know what they're doing, and they're not just teaching because they read it in a book somewhere. They're teaching because they've lived it.
I got that genuine feeling from St. Clair, like it was just home. Like I wasn't uncomfortable, I wasn't uneasy, it felt nice.
I have to take control of my future, and that's what I'm doing.
I got a gut feeling with St. Clair that was great, and I definitely wasn't let down.
St. Clair is my choice, and I'm glad it's the right one for me.
I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College.
I choose to take control of my future.
My path
is St. Clair College.
I choose to be here.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Shelbey Hernandez, and this has been Mediaplex News Now.
Mediaplex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism program.